What's up, everybody? Welcome into the DLLS Cowboys podcast on a Friday, headed into the weekend. It's good to be with you guys today. Please go ahead and smash that like button on your way in. We appreciate you guys being subscribed and being here when the show starts, being on time. It's real nice of you. What do we know about Christian Parker's defense? Our draft ranking series continues with safeties today. We'll take a peek around the NFL, and we will do whatever you want us to do in the chat. You tell me, what do you want us to do? What do you want to hear about? We got you covered. Welcome in. My name is Jeff. A black man. I am next to former Cowboy wide receiver, Jesse Holland. He's a black man. I am next to the greatest beat writer. He's next to the greatest beat writer in the history of the Cowboys, Mr. Clarence Hill. He's a black man.
Locked in Dallas News.
Jeff, before you get started, we got housekeeping. We got housekeeping. Okay. Jesse is trolling today. Why is Jesse trolling Clarence Hill? He got a Jeep from Jersey shirt. This guy will show it. So let the people know why you're trolling. He got a Jeep from Jersey. We still gonna fight over this. You know, I don't even have that shirt. How do you have that shirt? I don't have that version of that shirt. Jeep from Jersey sent Jesse that shirt. Okay, he's trolling me because my team is marching on in the big dance.
Yeah,
we won last night. North Carolina. They blew a 19-point lead and lost to VCU. And now Hubert Davis, Mr. I Love My White Wife, is probably gone.
I love my white wife.
Yeah, you don't know the story?
No.
Just move on.
When Hubert Davis was hired as the North Carolina basketball coach,
somebody asked him if his wife was white.
Nobody asked him.
Nobody asked him. He was asked, "What does it feel like to be the first black coach to break the color barrier, be the first black coach in Carolina history?"
Okay,
and he said, "That's cool and all, but I love my white wife.
Fair.
We got a great family."
That's fair.
I mean, nobody asked him.
But it's important to let people know about your loved ones. You know, you need people to know your foundation and the people that you love. It's very important.
His arse is gone now.
Is he gone? Is he officially gone?
No, he's not. He's not gone.
I was half paying attention. I was half butt paying attention to the tournament, and the one thing that I heard while I was playing Monopoly Deal for my 10th straight day or 9th straight day, however long since surgery, I heard the play-by-play of VCU getting the bucket to force overtime, and I just looked up, and I went, oh, man, because I got sad for Jesse, because I was like, if they don't win, that's going to suck for Jesse. And I was surprised Clarence wasn't texting our group chat trolling. I was like, okay, so he knows it's real serious.
Oh, like,
yeah, real life sad.
Oh, he was on the internet. He didn't text the group, but he texted the internet. He was on the internet trolling.
Okay.
No, somebody asked me on the internet, what about Jesse? I said, I'm not messing with Jesse. Jesse's not happy right now. We don't try to poke the bear. You know, we didn't try to poke the bear this morning. But yes, I was on the internet because I've been trolling Hubert since the beginning. I got a lot of Carolina friends. Josina Anderson, Newey Scruggs, so I went after them. I know Jesse played for Carolina. You know, you really can't talk trash to somebody who played for the program. But it's these other
that ain't never stopped you from talking trash. That's never stopped you from talking trash at all.
Right, man.
I was getting dressed this morning and I saw the t-shirt in the closet and I thought to myself, what a wonderful t-shirt to wear on this Friday.
See,
I just thought it was a great t-shirt to put on today, and I thought, why not show my reverence and respect and love to my dog? I just wanted to put the shirt on this morning. That's all. You know what I'm saying? No, ain't nothing wrong with that.
MD Rowe with a great point. Since when don't we kick people when they're down around here?
Exactly.
That's a fair point. Okay, Cowboys stuff. Now, somebody, when you watch this later, feel free to put in the comments on YouTube. They start talking Cowboys at 5 minutes. That'll help out the listeners. And so that'll be nice. So we're in the off season. We got a new defensive coordinator, a new defensive staff. I'm excited about it. A lot of people are excited about it. And we're just trying to learn more and more about what we can expect from this defense. And we've gotten media availabilities with a lot of the new guys over the last couple of days. And so the next one that I want everybody to hear is we want you to hear newest Cowboys safety / corner / he'll be in the secondary somewhere. Their biggest addition probably in free agency, Jalen Thompson. And so let's just hear from him in a little bit.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News.
What is it about Christian Parker and what he wants to do with you guys? You believe it's going to help you be successful here?
I mean, I know you guys have seen some of my past interviews just showing the versatility. Some of the guys that we've picked up all have versatility and all can do a lot of things on the football field, and I think it's just going to make our team so much better.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. How you doing? And welcome to the Cowboys. You talked about the versatility, playing the slot, playing deep safety. Can you talk about the slot, and do you envision doing some of that here?
For sure, wherever the coaches need me at. But, yeah, definitely see myself playing in the slot, definitely see myself playing deep safety, definitely see myself playing strong, free, wherever they need me at. And my film shows it, you know what I mean? I got tape that shows it and ready to get it going, bro.
Yes. So I do like that about what it sounds like we're going to see from the Cowboys, because I think that's the next step in NFL football, and what's happening now is forever the quarterback has lined up, looked at the safeties. You look at the safeties, now I know what you're doing on defense. Now I know what I'm going to do with the football. But more and more, we're reaching into a point where the defense is caught up on that chess game. And if you don't know, because I can do this, I can do that, I can do that, and so can he, and so can he. If you can get enough of those guys together, suddenly that doesn't work anymore for an offense. I can line up however I want. It doesn't mean that's what I'm doing after the snap. And so I like Jalen Thompson's film. I like what he's saying about what Christian Parker is going to do. And it makes the offseason more fun for me because nothing is off limits like in the draft or free agency or trading. When I'm looking at the secondary, I don't know who they have written in stone that's going to be out there. But all of these different guys that offer versatility, corner's not off the board, safety's not off the board. I don't know what they're going to do. And to me, that makes for a fun and interesting offseason, but I do need them to still do some stuff.
And the thing is, welcome to the Dallas Cowboys defense into the 21st century, right? This is how defense gets played in today's football. The days of you lining up and kind of just being stagnant will get you torched in the National Football League today. So you need players like Jalen Thompson to come in and to be able to have that versatility. And again, it matches to what the defensive coordinator, Christian Parker, talks about. I want versatile players. I want smart players. I want people who can understand the system that I run and be able to play in multiple different fronts, because the offenses will continue to evolve. The receivers will continue to evolve. The tight ends will continue to evolve. The running backs will continue to evolve. The play callers will continue to evolve. And what ends up happening is, if you don't have a way to combat that, if you don't have a way to disguise it and to put things out there on the field to confuse the quarterback, then what's going to happen is you're going to get 40 points hung on you week in and week out. And so having these pieces in place like a Jalen Thompson for Christian Parker and this defense ushers in the Cowboys into this new generation of how football is being played.
We've talked about in basketball, positionless basketball. And right now in this Cowboys secondary on the CP, it's positionless football. You have to be versatile. You have to be interchangeable. You can do it all. I don't know how that affects when you look at the draft and the type of guys they're looking for, guys looking at the secondary. This gives you a vision of the guys they may try to draft. Maybe not the first round, but if they dip back in the secondary in the second, well, they don't have a second round pick, but in dip back in the secondary as they go along the draft, you're going to look for interchangeable pieces, guys that can do some safety, do some slot. But one thing that, he talked about the other guys that they signed. He talked about PJ Locke, and he talked about Kobe, how they all can do different things. That versatile. These are the guys that, CP wants back there. And then he really said, I play the slot. I can do it all. I can be back. He can do things. He also said the signing of Ryan Smith, his former secondary coach with the Cardinals, was also key why he came. He talked about, the smarts of Ryan Smith and the type of coach he is, and he wanted to play for him. And certainly we talked about, PJ wanted to be here with Christian Parker. He talked about his smarts, and those guys together, they're both two Kappas, Ryan Smith and Christian Parker, they're frat brothers. They're going to get this thing together. But yeah, you're excited about your coaching staff. Again, we talked about the vision for the scheme, vision for the player. He also talked about being a safety. He wants to know what everybody's job is. He's smart back there. He needs to know what everybody's supposed to do. And that's his mindset. And sort of that's the mindset of the players that Christian Parker wants in the secondary.
And Jeff, refresh my memory, was it Ryan Smith when he was at Virginia Tech that recruited Mansour Delane, or was that it before he transferred to LSU?
Yes, Ryan Smith recruited Mansour Delane to Virginia Tech. Yes, so he has a relationship there. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a relationship there. So I'm not saying that he's going to come to the Cowboys and they're looking, but there's a relationship there. So they understand the player, know the player, and this is a guy who could be available to the Cowboys at 12 or at 12. Probably won't be there at 20, but maybe at 12.
Well, and when we talk about like the players versus the scheme, I feel like last year at times they tried to mix it up so that you didn't know necessarily what their safeties were going to do. But when you have out there that has such a big shortcoming when it comes to part of the game, it doesn't matter what the disguise is. The quarterback's going, oh, number 6 is back deep. That's fun. And I wonder if that sort of player is just on the way out in the NFL. Is the strong safety who is not a cover guy on the way out? I don't know. Chill, what are you laughing at?
You said that we didn't know what the safety was supposed to do because they were disguising things. Did the safety know what they were supposed to do? I mean,
that's a fair question.
I'm just saying I want to be messy, but how many times when guys running butt naked wide open? I mean, I'm just trying to. We didn't know what the safety was going to do. The safety didn't know what they were supposed to do.
And Jeff, to your point, I think that may be the shift. Is the days of the strong safety coming down and covering in the being that box safety. Everything now is becoming so versatile. You and I, all of us, you and I, Clarence, John, we sat there and we watched the combine. And as we're sitting there, we're watching guys who are taller, bigger, heavier, run faster than they've ever run before. Like you starting to see that athleticism come about, whether it's offensive linemen, whether it's tight ends, running backs, of course, receivers, but guys are starting to be more and more athletic than we've ever seen them before. And so if they're putting those athletic guys on offense, I mean, heck, we even see now some teams go out there with the 6 offensive linemen and throw them the football. And so if offenses are getting bigger and guys are getting more athletic, you have to combat that with, on defense, matching it. The days of you being a linebacker and not being able to cover, you're going to see yourself being pushed out of the league. Safeties who no longer can cover, come on, like teams are going to 2 and 3 tight end sets and everybody can run. I mean, look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh got a 6'8" dude who's damn near 300 pounds who can run.
My guy.
Who can run.
My guy.
And so with that type of athleticism and size, you got to find a way to do something to have an answer for it. And so the days of the safeties, especially the safeties not being able to cover, that's going to be a tough road to hoe to get a job in the National Football League here in the near future.
All right, Chill. What was that face that you made about 20 seconds ago? What was that one?
Talking about the big tight end in Pittsburgh?
Darnell Washington.
They run like molasses?
No, he's awesome. You stop it. Darnell Washington's awesome. He can play left tackle, right tackle, and tight end. He was their best tight end, but they insisted on playing guys who weren't any good. Darnell Washington's awesome, and we will not.
He had an injury. I remember going into the draft because he was somebody I was thinking the Cowboys should draft, but he had some injury issues coming out of college. You remember that I think they took him off the board.
You got Brevin Spanford. Brevin Spanford is 6 foot something, 270 pounds. Start throwing him the rock a little bit more. You know what I mean?
They will. It's Brandon sports season. It's time. He's coming.
If Brevin is 270,
he's on the come.
If Brevin's 270, then I think that Darnell Washington might be 330. Just picturing those two different guys in my mind. That's 2 completely different sizes. Coming up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, we pose a question about this defense. It could be encouraging. It could be discouraging. You tell me your interpretation. We got your super chats as well. It's next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast. Let's talk about our guys at Sling TV, one of the most flexible ways to watch live TV with the college basketball tournament happening. Sling TV gives you access to the games and more control over how and where you tune in. Check it out. Sling has flexible 1, 3, or 7-day pass options. That means instant access to live TV for men's and women's tournament. You can get a day pass starting at just $4.99, and they're celebrating the chaos that everybody loves when the underdogs make something happen. If you purchase any pass from Sling and a 12 through 16 seed makes it to the round of 16 in either the men's or women's tournament, your next day pass is just $1. Get signed up at sling.com/underdog. If an underdog wins, then you win too. Live TV your way. Learn more at sling.com/underdog. No purchase required. To learn more and see the full rules, just head on over there to sling.com/underdog. Also want to talk about our friends at Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market. If you haven't gone yet, you haven't been listening to me, I don't appreciate it. Swing by one of the 9 locations of Wild Fork Foods and you will be blown away, and you will stop going to the grocery store to buy your meats. We're talking about over 700 items. We're talking about employees there that are incredible. You'll get some one-on-one time. If you want it, you say, hey, look, I don't even know what I want to make tonight. They'll take you through the store. They'll show you what they got. They'll tell you how to prep it, how to cook it, everything that you're looking for. So when you're looking for your steak, your chicken, your shrimp, your seafood, some of the exotics, ostrich, rabbit, gator, they got everything at Wild Fork Foods, and they have sides as well, so you can do your entire meals there. It doesn't have to be just the meats. They got your spices and your rubs, all sorts of stuff, and it's an incredible place with great people. Frozen is fresher at Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market. The organic grass-fed ground beef, 85% lean, $6 a pound. You got to try them out at one of their 9 area DFW locations. Learn more at wildforkfoods.com. Hello, everybody. It's the DLLS Cowboys podcast. Good to be with you. I had my mute button hit on my end. Smash the like button on your way in, please. We sure would appreciate it. We got some super chats from the people. Justin is in the super chat. And yes, Jesse has a wonderful shirt on. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see his Chill Hill Club Pop shirt.
I need that shirt.
That's a nice shirt. You got one, didn't you?
No, he got a different one. No, he gets a different one.
Oh. Okay. Justin's in the super chat. He said, if you can afford one good trade for linebacker or edge, would you rather trade before the draft to only have one must draft, or after to fill what they missed on? Justin, I hate your question, because a well-run team is getting both of those before the draft. You're getting both of them. If I can only trade for a linebacker or an edge, I guess I have to trade for a linebacker. Because while I think what they have at pass rush isn't good enough, I don't hate Shamar James, but I don't think you're not going to go through an offseason planning that he's the starter. And who's next? Like, I had to look up the roster to tell you who his backup is. If I can only trade for one, I guess it has to be a linebacker, and then you yank the Clowney out of your back pocket after the draft. That's the one I would pick. Right? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong? I don't know. That's what I would do. Slick Striker, if y'all could pick 92, if you could trade pick 92 for one of these players, who would y'all pick? Jordan Brooks, Nick Herbig, Jonathan Grenard, Josh Sweat. You guys have a preference? I'd trade my 3 for Nick Herbig in a heartbeat. I don't know if Pittsburgh's actually got him on the market, because if my issue is I got too many good pass rushers, because I got TJ Watt, Alonzo Highsmith, and Nick Herbig, good for me. Don't call me. I'm not trading them. But I think either Herbig or Grenard might be worth your 92 if you could pull it off. You guys have a preference?
I just think that 92 is too high. Maybe for Nick Herbert, for the other guys. I mean, you what you give him a 4th for Gary?
Yeah.
92 is rich.
And your 4th for Gary was kind of a gift, unless you got somehow into a bidding war, because Green Bay didn't think they were going to get anything. When you're talking about some of those guys, you're talking about people that you would have to pry that player away, or that does have better value. Gary's value wasn't super high because Green Bay was just like, this cap hit's not manageable. We're not even going to have him on our team. and they managed to get a 4th-round pick for him. So they did a nice job. He can still help the Cowboys, but they did a nice job. Are you trying to trade number 92, Jesse?
No, I'm not actually. I'm agreeing with Clarence. I think it's a little bit too rich. But if I wanted one of those players, it would probably be. Herbig sounds like the best player. Problem is, he's always dealing with some sort of injury. And when you come to Dallas, they feel like all the injuries come with players when they come to Dallas. So, but Jonathan, that's another name that people have tossed around that I wouldn't mind kicking the tires on.
William is in the super chat. He said, I wonder if they consider rebuilding the defense as a 2-year process. And if all top defense is gone, top offensive player. And I don't know if they would. I mean, who are the names? Like, is there any way that the Cowboys are picking a wide receiver in the first round of this draft? I mean, we know the only way that it could be but I don't think we want that way to happen. If you were going to trade George Pickens on his tag, you'd pick a wide receiver. But with the place they are currently, I can't imagine that they would pick a wide receiver.
No, not a wide receiver, but is there a point where we get to 20 and if the draft goes horribly wrong, offensive lineman, tight end? I know Chill wants Love, but I don't think he'll be there at 20.
Yeah, it sounds like he's not getting out of the top 5. That's what it sounds like. We'll see.
Somebody smart.
What, the team is going to pick a running back?
Yes.
Shout out to the Raiders. The Raiders were the smart team last year. Shout out to the Raiders and Ashton Genty. Woo woo.
We'll check on Genty this year.
I mean, he's a monster. I love Ashton Genty. He's a great player. It's just hard to be a great player if you're not surrounded by it when you play running back. It's tough. It's tough at every position, but probably tougher at running back. If you got to the 20th pick in the draft and Kenyon Sadiq was the best player on the board, I'd pick him. That's a tight end at Oregon. He's a freaky athlete. He's a 6'3", 245, a little tight end, but he blocks his butt off. He's an explosive player. I would do that. I can't imagine, and maybe I'm wrong, but I can't imagine that this team would pull the trigger on an offensive player, no matter what in the first round. I might go full Chill on this one. The Cowboys are not picking an offensive player. And that's how you get one. I just got him for you. I just got you one because then you can play that quote and say Jeff's an idiot. That's how it happens. Clarence, what are the Cowboys not going to pick in the first round last year?
I'm not touching this. I mean, you don't do good people like this. We don't bring up Sky Moore. Everybody has their foibles. You know, we're asked to come on and have opinions. If you don't have opinions, then you will never get caught. Okay? If you don't have, takes,
opinions,
you will never get caught.
Definitive statements.
That's right. You're a big J journalist. That was a report.
That was a definitive report.
It was not a report.
It was a report. I'm on a podcast. We're not asked to be mealy mouthed. We're asked to say things with our chest. I had a little too much dip on my chip, okay? I had too much dip on the chip, okay? That's what that was. But it definitely there was not a story saying Cowboys. It was just a comment. We're having conversations on the podcast. That's just because I never got around to writing the story of Clarence Hill reports.
Okay. Listen.
Just like you're in trouble anytime you start a sentence with listen. You know you're backed up against the wall.
Well, I can't win. I'm never gonna win this. So I got it.
Sky Moore breakout coming pretty quick. By the way, Laquan Treadwell is now in like his 11th season. So anybody who thought I was wrong on him, he's still playing. That's all I'm saying. You know?
Is he? Is he still playing?
He's still in the league.
Okay. That's the difference now. In the league and playing is two different things.
He's in the league. He's getting the full pension.
Listen, every year that you're in the league, that end of the year pension number goes up and up and up and up. So keep adding them years on, Treadwell.
Now, what round did you have him in, and what kind of impact did you have him? You know, see, now we have to put context.
Yeah, I think Jeff called him a little Des Bryant.
I did. Had him in the first round.
Okay, then.
And, predicted he would play at least 11 years in the league. And, Carlos is in the super chat. Why can't fans who pay money to this team realize that the owner is more concerned with being cheap than winning? And one thing we don't stand for on this show is disrespect. Wait, I don't stand for disrespect to
your Hall of Fame.
My Hall of Fame general manager.
Yes.
That's one thing that I do not accept on this show. Except, obviously, you're right. We say it all the time. Everybody knows it. It's just a matter of, you want your team to be good. So what are we going to do? We're going to spend our time focusing on the shortcomings of the 32nd best GM in football? Or are we going to spend our time trying to get better?
Is it cheap? Is it cheap?
Yes.
Or him focusing on outside things, marketing, selling more than winning? I don't. Can we just call him cheap? I don't know if he's cheap.
I would call him
cheap. He got the highest paid quarterback in the league. Got one of the highest paid receiver in the league. He got the highest paid offensive lineman in the league. Is he cheap?
Yes, he's cheap.
Or he making bad decisions?
No, he's cheap. It's a misconception on what cheap means in the NFL. Cheap in the NFL, Jerry will tell you he's not cheap because of what you just said. I pay my quarterback the most. I paid CD all this. I paid this. The people who aren't cheap are spending actual cash money every year in free agency to try to win the Super Bowl. They're not. They're filling up their salary cap space to have the money they spend match the cap, while other teams are paying more than that, showing less than that on the books. So, yeah, I mean, if cheap is an insult, I apologize, but absolutely, the Cowboys are one of the cheaper teams in football when it comes to how much money you actually spend, and they would like to win without ever risking the future and without spending as much cash as the teams who are trying their hardest. That's
why you see the free agency spending over the last couple of years. That they were last in the last 6 years. Overall, they were 25th in spending last year in free agency. That's the part where the money needs to be spent. That the Cowboys, year in and year out, don't spend there.
And what's crazy is Jalen Thompson, $11 million, most expensive free agent signing since Brandon Carr.
Yeah, that's cheap.
That's crazy because $11 million ain't nothing.
No.
Without due respect to $11 million.
That funky $11 million.
That funky, with all due respect to that funky $11 million, considering the free agent contracts the guys are getting across the league, and you saw what Michael Parsons got, and these guys are getting $11 million ain't a lot of money. If that's your highest paid free agent.
G Sports said in the super chat, question for Pop. Don't say what somebody's reporting. Clarence is going to leave the show and text somebody right now. Nick Harris is reporting they've pivoted off Patrick Queen. Al-Shaair and Brooks are being discussed. What have you heard about linebackers, sir? Don't leave the show to fire off a text, Clarence. How we doing linebacker?
I think that.
Oh.
Okay,
go ahead. I thought he did. He's like, screw y'all. I'm gonna go check this out.
You know who that was? That's John. That's John. That's Petty John. Do we really? It's John being petty, man. It's just John. He has his humor. I'm gonna ask you guys something.
Okay.
I know what we think they ought to do. Do we really think the Cowboys are gonna do anything else before the draft?
Yes,
I
really do. And I just called the owner cheap, and I mean that, and I'm 100% right about it. But I also think that they're not going to go into the draft without their pants on. I think in the next however long, week or two, they're going to trade probably for a linebacker. I think that'll happen. Okay. I think they do probably think they can survive with what they have at pass rush. And so maybe they go into the draft the same there. I think they're absolutely adding a linebacker before the draft.
Well, and the thing about it is that which gives us pause that they try to win every trade, right? Are they going to give up enough?
That's the hard part.
Are they going to weigh this? How they did with some of the free agents. They're going to weigh the fit and weigh the cost. And which again, they tried to go get Max Crosby, but they didn't go far enough.
Right.
Are they going to go far enough to fill that need?
I do think that's the hard part, and why they may end up, whoever they acquire will be maybe underwhelming. And so they can be interested in whoever they want. But I saw my buddy Bob Sturm talking, I think on I think it was on the D Magazine podcast.
Yeah.
And I thought he put it pretty well. The reason the Cowboys don't spend big in free agency is because Jerry Jones hates being the person without leverage. So when you go and the player has all the leverage, 32 teams can bid on me. He ain't going to win that battle. because he doesn't want to be in that position. I don't want to outspend everybody else. I don't want to do that. And so if you're trying to trade for a linebacker from a team that isn't actively trying to get rid of him, then they have the leverage. Jerry doesn't like that game. He's not going to give enough to get the player, most likely. If it's a player that is a really nice player and multiple teams are interested, the odds of the Cowboys coming up with the biggest offer are probably low. And so those two things are going to have to fight for me, because I do believe they're not going in the draft with another linebacker.
And that's why people think Jerry's changed. That's why people think something else is going on, because Jerry did that with Dion.
Yeah.
He was not going to be outbid.
That was a different Jerry, yeah.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, he did that with Brandon Carr, and they got burned.
Yeah,
but they did that with Brandon Carr. He was definitely the highest paid, and they were not going to be outbid to fill that cornerback need, because he was going to be their next Dion. Him and Morris Claiborne. But now that's not Jerry's mindset. So when did that mindset change? Because we tells the story all the time about he had to go home and walk the streets of Arkansas and go up to his plane in his raggedy truck, and Steven threw him up against the wall, but he was not going to let Dion get a door. He was going to outbid everybody.
Yeah, it stopped.
Now it's different.
It stopped when he became wealthy. Like back then, he was leveraged. He was risked. He thought winning was what would get him profitable and become a rich man, and now he is. He's incredibly wealthy and comfortable, I think is what happened, and he's won Super Bowls. So I just think there's a lot to it. Coming up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, ranking this draft rolls on. We're looking at safeties today. Which of these guys could help out your Dallas Cowboys? We do it next. Would like to encourage all of you out there to join the supporters club. If you're a sicko, this is the next level stuff. You support the show, and we appreciate you. If you're here, we appreciate you. Hit the like button. We love you. You're in the chat. We love you. When you're a part of the supporters club on YouTube, you stand out. You get the badge next to your name that lets people know that you're part of the supporters club. You get access to exclusive emojis, which is great. And we create some content that is only for the people who are part of the supporters club. So go ahead and do that. Support us, support your people, support the show, get access to those emojis, and have yourself a time. We appreciate everybody who is a part of our supporters club.
If you love the NFL draft, then this is your edge. The Die Hard NFL Draft Guide is built and based off of thousands of hours of film study, being boots on the ground, Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, Combine, talking to scouts, talking to coaches, really getting a feel for where these players are best going to fit and project in the NFL. We're talking hundreds of players in this class.
Cowboy fans, you got to have access to Fran Duffy's Die Hard Draft Guide, because he knows exactly what the Cowboys are looking for and has in-depth scouting reports on everybody that can help this team. So help yourself and be informed about the NFL draft. Make sure you got Fran's Draft Guide.
All right, so what are you going to find in the guide? Well, you're going to find player comps. You're going to find strengths, weaknesses, physical tools, analytics, highlights, analysis from all across the space, everything you need to try and determine who are the best players for your team. You get access to the guide if you're a diehard, and you'll also get access to a couple of individual breakdowns I'm doing specifically for your team. All right, look, if you want surface level breakdowns, you can get them anywhere, but if you want independent thought, if you want thorough breakdowns on all of these prospects, become a diehard, get the guide. Or you can get access to the 2026 guide for just $26. Let's win draft season.
Welcome back, everybody, to the DLLS Cowboys podcast. We got some more of your super chats. We are talking about the NFL draft and who the Cowboys may select. We've been working our way this week through a bunch of different positions. We're going to do safety today, but let me knock out your super chats first. Vance is in there. We love you, Vance. Best proof that Jerry is cheap. Has anyone ever said Arkansas football has an amazing NIL budget?
The basketball team does. The basketball team does.
And Arkansas has Tyson, the Waltons, and the Joneses.
Boy, they should be best. They should be the best at everything.
That's like they got Calipari from Kentucky. They paid him a buttload of money. They gave him a big NIL budget. They're one of the top NIL spending teams in basketball. They've missed the mark in football with their coaching hires.
Slick Striker is in the super chat. If Jerry didn't use the bust the budget quote, do you think the fans would think differently about this year's moves and be more positive about them? I'm not negative about their moves, but I think you have to be realistic about their moves, right? The the safety, Jalen Thompson, that's a nice player. He's going to help you. Rashawn Gary is going to help the Cowboys. But I think the realistic view of it isn't ignoring that when he was going to be a $30 million cap hit, the Packers were like, you're not going to be on this team. And when he got to the Cowboys, he accepted a pay cut. So you have to have realistic expectations about the guys that they've added and what they can do for you. And we're going to put our faith into the one thing that I think they absolutely got right this offseason, which is it appears that Jerry relinquished some control and let people who know better than him do their job and go find a defensive staff. And he wrote the checks to bring in a defensive staff in a way that isn't standard Jones protocol. And so that's where our offseason optimism is going to come from is you're not going to be optimistic about a team that has had struggles at team building for the last half decade when they team build the same way. And so the only thing that is going to give me hope is what are you doing differently that should give me any reason to believe that you've learned something or something is going to be different. And I can only go to the one thing that's been different, which is the way they went about finding their new defensive staff. And so that's what I'll put my faith in this offseason is that your defensive staff can make a difference. All right, let's do, did I hit all the super chats? Let me see. Have I hit them all? I've lost my ability. I think there's one more that I'm missing. Nope, I got them all. Okay. Safeties ranked in this year's NFL draft. And yes, Jeff's are going to be a little bit different than probably most of the ones you've seen because I don't care about anyone else's rankings. I just watch the players and put them where I think they go. Top 5 safeties in this NFL draft class. Number 1, Caleb Downs, Ohio State, one of the best players in this draft, I believe. And the further we get away from the combine, the more we can calm down about pretending it's time to move him down or move anybody else up. And we can go back to remembering how they play the sport of football on the field. Caleb Downs is a Christian Parker dream. Caleb Downs looks faster and more explosive than everyone else, despite the fact that he's probably not. He looks that way on tape because he thinks the game. He anticipates the game. He's awesome. He is going to cause problems for NFL offenses from day one. And I hope it's for the Cowboys. I don't think it'll happen, but it sure would be cool if Caleb Downs ended up with the Cowboys. Number 2, Dylan Thieneman from the University of Oregon, who is mocked in every single mock draft you will ever find at number 18 to the Minnesota Vikings to replace Harrison Smith. And that just seems a little off to me. Seems a little off to me because I don't know if you guys are familiar with Harrison Smith. I know you two are. I don't know why Dylan Thieneman's got to be the guy to replace him all the time. But it's a little wonky. Safety number 3. Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of the University of Toledo. And he's another guy that could fit what the Cowboys and what Christian Parker's talking about, what they want from their nickel. I think the wild card here is Jalen Thompson already that guy, or are you still in the market for that guy? And I think if it's the right sort of player, you could view it as they're interchangeable. And how great would it be to have multiple guys who can line up and be a deep half safety or can cover the slot? And that's McNeil Warren. He's a guy he's a solid player when he's backing up, when he's playing deep. He anticipates well, and he's a big safety who could legit step down in the box and play the edge and be an enforcer at the line of scrimmage. So he's got a good combination of traits that could play for the Cowboys or for anybody else.
Now, what's keeping you from playing both of those guys, Warren and Thompson, together?
I don't think anything is. I'm trying to picture the Cowboys secondary and wonder, are they looking for another Jalen Thompson sort of player? And if there was one with even more size, would that make him more likely to kind of be the nickel more often and Thompson line up at safety more often? I don't know. I'm just trying to picture how they piece it all together. But I do think the right player, yeah, they just play together.
I'm talking about moving Malik Hooker off the field and making those two guys their primary safeties.
You could maybe, yeah. Yeah, and if you had that ability, you could save some money and just not have Malik Hooker on the team.
Yeah, and keep in mind that P.J. Locke Hooker, and Kobe are all on 1-year deals. So we're talking about now. We're also talking about the future. We're talking about a draft pick, certainly one of those guys of that ilk, that high. You're looking also at the future, and so Malik Hooker's only here for 1 more year. Again, PJ Locke is only here on a 1-year deal. He's largely a backup interchangeable. He's not a starting option here. So I don't think those guys preclude you from doing that.
Number 4, I think I'm on number 4 of the safeties in this draft class for me is AJ Halsey out of LSU. And a lot of the guys, let me look at all 5, 6 of them. AJ Halsey is probably the biggest in terms of weight. He's about 220 pounds, but that doesn't stop him from being able to be a deep half player. Love the awareness when you're in zone coverage to try to find the football and go get the football. So like he's one of the guys that still has kind of that enforcer build to him, but I don't think it stops him from being a capable player in coverage either. Maybe not so much so that you would want him to be a sort of nickel guy. I think you want him either in a kind of more traditional, what you think of as safety, where it's like, yeah, I'll play a deep half or I'll come down and play in the box, but I do like him a lot. And at number 5, I cheated. I got a tie. Bud Clark at TCU. And the reason I have a tie is because I do have them in an order, but I wanted to talk about them both because I think these two fit the Cowboys really well. Bud Clark at TCU is a guy that's kind of built like a corner. I'll check his combine weight, but I don't know if it was 200 pounds. But he's one of those guys that at TCU, he shows that versatility. You want me to step down and cover the slot guy in man coverage? I got you. You want me to play free safety or a deep half? I got you. You want me to be a high energy, excited about the physical part of football? I got you. I like Bud Clark a lot, and most people don't have him nearly as high as I do, and that's okay. He's also going to be one of the old guys. Bud Clark did 6 years in college, I believe. And so did Traden Stukes. And the scouting reports are going to read the same. He's from Arizona. He lines up and he plays the nickel. He plays safety. He is a missile that wants to hit people. And so that's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm looking at these secondary guys, is I'm wondering if I should highlight more of the guys who I think have all of the versatility, because there's other safeties in this class. Genesis Smith, the other safety at Arizona, he's a really good deep ball hawking safety. He is the most tackling averse safety you will ever watch play football. And so I don't know if I should even include him or factor him in, because I'm like, well, I don't know if that's very Cowboy. And then there's other guys that I think are more box guys, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to include them. And so I wanted to highlight the guys that I think can give you the ability to cover, to hit, to be physical, to do all the different things that you want to see to be able to switch those guys out. Jeff, how big is the distance from 3 to 5 in your opinion? Good value waiting until 92 for safety? I think you can find a safety at 92. That's my guess, because I named 6 of them, and I think there's probably 3 or 4 more that maybe start as rookies. And so I think 92 might be a spot where you can find yourself a safety or maybe a linebacker that could actually contribute as a rookie to the football team. I think it's an awesome safety class. I love it. There's the one guy at the top, but after that, I think you can find a lot of guys depending on what you're looking for to help out your football team. Multiple people in the chat saying it's really Steven that's cheap. And I like to just put blame at the top. That's what I believe in. I believe if you're in charge of everything, you get the responsibility for everything. It's what you want. You said, I'm this and I'm that. All right, well, you can have all the blame. Vance said, Jeff, I agree. It is wonky. Why do people think the Vikings want a safety with 2 last names? Is Dylan a last name? Dylan Thieneman, Harrison Smith. I guess they all could be 2 last name things. All right, now you're all caught up, okay? Let's take a peek around the NFL on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, because I told you about Philadelphia, didn't I? It's falling apart. It's falling all the way apart. Plus some other fun stuff is next. Now is a great time for you to sign up to be a diehard. Limited time. The intro offer is $36. When you are a diehard with DLLS, you get access to all sorts of things. You get a free t-shirt when you sign up from our merch store, and there's all sorts of cool options in there. So go ahead and sign up to be a diehard. Take advantage of the incredible offer, $36 instead of $79.99 for your first year. But this is a limited time offer, and it will go away soon. So when you're a diehard, what do you get? You get all sorts of things. Don't forget your diehard carrying card. I don't have my wallet on me, but I got my diehard carrying card. I get pulled over and I try to use that first. They come up and they say license, and I say, wow. It hadn't worked out for me yet, but it will. It's a sweet little card. You get a free t-shirt when you sign up. And the merch store is really cool. There's a lot of great stuff to choose from. I'm wearing a DLLS hat. Once you're a diehard, guess what? You get discounts on merch. I bought 2 of these bad boys because I really like this hat. And you get those discounts when you're a diehard. You get access to all of the premium content on our website, which is great. If you're a DFW sports fan, the diehard is the greatest value in sports because you'll have everything. We got beat writers for every team. You get an ad-free experience on the website. You get into our Discord where the hosts of DLLS, the producers, all of the folks are in there with you guys. And we're just talking about all sorts of stuff, not just sports. We got all sorts of different channels in the Discord. You get that when you're signed up to be a diehard. So take advantage of this value, especially because it's NFL draft season. And our guy, Fran Duffy, is the finest draft expert in all the land. We will have to reschedule the thing that was going to be today. He is going to do a diehard Q&A about the NFL draft with you guys, but it does have to be rescheduled, and we apologize for that. But you get access to his rankings, to all the scouting reports, all the work that goes into this. It would be an incredible value on its own for $36, and it's just part of your diehard package. So get signed up to be a diehard today, or else. Not a threat. We are going to go around the NFL, but it's the DLLS Cowboys podcast. So when somebody is in here and super chatting or has been a member for 5 months, we'll hit what you got. TikTok Cowboys. Hi, Jeff. I am high. I am on a lot of painkillers. PT yesterday was brutal. They already got me doing leg press and step ups on the reconstructed knee or the replaced knee. I was not ready for that. I hurt today. Caden Proctor at 20. Would you hate it? I know we need defense, but the dude was a beast at Bama. And our left tackle is questionable. I'll throw that to everybody. If the best player available in the draft played offensive tackle, you've picked a defensive player at 12. Are you open to an offensive lineman at 20?
I am. I'm not. I wouldn't be mad at it. The Cowboys have an offensive line issue. And the only reason why we have not talked about it as much this offseason is because the defense has been even worse. If the defense was somewhat comparable and it wasn't just an all-out S show over there on the defense side of the ball, we would be talking more about offensive line play. I promise you. It is still an issue. It is still a problem. Hence why at the end of the year, we were having the conversation about Tyler Smith potentially being moved out to left tackle when we all know he is a much better guard and should stay at guard. But because the defense is the way that it is, these other guys haven't been – I mean, we haven't talked about Tyler Guyton one time. And Tyler Guyton is a problem at left tackle. An absolute problem at left tackle. We really don't know – if we're being honest, today, we don't know who our left tackle is going to be next season. We can think it's Tyler Guyton, but that may not necessarily be true at the start of the season. So for me, if Proctor's there at 20 and the defense had a run, I wouldn't be mad at it.
Joe, what is that face?
He didn't like that picture of the 3 Tylers yesterday on social media. The 3 Tylers took a picture together.
I thought that was a great bonding picture. All of our Tylers were together.
Jesse does not like one Tyler. He don't like his face. He don't like nothing about one Tyler.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Here's where private conversations need to stay private.
Yep.
And not on a public space.
You said everything you need to say in your statement about one Tyler. You know, there's a question there. The problem here is that all don't matter right now. Okay? It's not about all players matter, all positions matter. The fire is on defense. We have to put out the fire on defense. I'm not going to say they're not taking a guard or a tackle or an offensive player. I am not saying that
yet.
I'm just saying the focus is on defense. They need help on defense. It wasn't just the offensive line wasn't great, but the offensive line was part of one of the top offensive units in the league. The defense was historically bad. There's a huge cavern between the problems on the offensive line and the problems on defense. A huge cavern.
Yeah.
Big as,
how close I was to the league. Big as that.
Yeah. I'm just saying we can't ignore the cavern, the issues, the problems on defense, especially when we already said they've gotten a little better in free agency, but they haven't gotten appreciably better. They haven't gotten any difference makers in the free agency. They need help badly on defense, and we just can't ignore that.
No, and I think that makes my point that the defense was extremely, extremely bad, and all the focus and all the energy and all the resources and all the finances and everybody's focus is across on the other side of the ball. That doesn't negate the fact that your offensive tackles were bad last year.
No, so now, I agree, but you drafted that
if we get to 20 and there has been a run on defensive players and everybody that we have at 20 is really second round players, then I'd rather take a first round or a legit closer first round offensive tackle than I would to stretch and take a guy who's really supposed to be a third rounder or a late second rounder.
Well, that offensive lineman, whoever you take at 20, is really a second rounder because they ain't going to be about 12 first round picks in this draft. And again, when you've taken offensive line in 3 of the last 4 drafts, and a lineman in 4 of the last, each of the last 4 drafts in the first round, I mean, you've spent a lot of resources at that position. So again, we need to spend the resource on the other side of the ball.
Carrie's in the super chat. He said, "Why is Jesse so quiet today? He's still hurting from losing that race." He just slipped. Jesse hadn't been quiet. No, I don't think so. No, the only time that I think that you would be quiet or Clarence was quiet or whatever is when I'm doing my top 5s, and that's hard because it's hard for me. I don't know how to make that interactive, when I'm going through scouting reports and players, and so I don't know how to make that interactive, and I need to do a better job.
It's your top 5. It's just like when I do KBBU. You guys are quiet when I do KBBU until the very end of it. You may interject here and there, but that's just what it is. I thought I was pretty talkative today.
We got a tough spot here. You tell me if you hear the background noise because my cleaning robot is in the same room as me and I can't reach him. And I just had a knee replaced and I can't stop him. I could stop him, but I'd have to get up and stop him. Oh, okay. He just said cleaning completed, returning to station. Cool. Where was I? My robot confused.
Rich housewife. He just saw some gadgets. Get this gadget on Amazon. Let me go on and buy this little robot. You got the one that mops too, or just the
yes,
one
I do.
You got the one that mops too.
I'm not gonna lie. My robot is sitting right there in the corner too. I'm not gonna lie. My robot is. Does
the mop one mop? Does it really do a good job mopping?
It does. It does a really good job. Yeah. And you are amazed out there, people, how dirty your house is, because you can run your robot and it'll go vacuum everything, every surface that should be vacuumed. And then it knows when it's on a surface that should be mopped instead. It vacuums that, then it mops it. And then it returns and it's got the clean water on one side and the dirty water on another. It ejects the dirty water. You just got to empty that. You could run it again and you would get some dirty water again. Your house is dirty, people. You don't know what's in there. I'm feeling like Jesse now. I'm going to turn into a germaphobe because I've noticed. Get you a robot. You just have to get you about 40 grand and then you'll have a cleaning robot. I think it's like $700 or $800.
Get you a robot.
It's not.
Get you a robot or get you a girlfriend.
Well, that's sexist. So, yes.
Clarence, why you don't buy women watches?
Because the stove got a clock on it. The stove has a clock on it. Said old Charles Barkley, women, we love you. We're just having fun. Don't be dumb.
I'm not doing any around the NFL unless you count a mock drafters around the NFL because I found a mock draft. NFL.com. What's Eric's last name? Eric's a good dude, and I'm forgetting his last name. Edholm.
Edholm.
Good dude. I believe he does the scouting for, I don't want to pick the wrong college football all-star game, but he does the scouting for one of the college football all-star games. And he put out his mock draft And I'm just going to run you through it. Fernando Mendoza 1, Arvell Reese 2, David Bailey 3, Jeremiah Love 4. That's starting to become pretty darn popular, those 4 names. Sonny Styles at 5, Francis Maui Noah, the Miami offensive lineman, at 6, Carnell Tate at 7, Ruben Bain at 8, Mansour Delane at 9, and there goes my heartbreak at number 10, Caleb Downs. 11's Mekhi Lemon, and 12 is Jermod McCoy. Who do the Cowboys pick at 20 in the NFL.com mock? The answer is Keldrick Falk, the Auburn defensive lineman, at number 20. And I do think he could stand up, or he could be your hand-down third defensive lineman. So people may hate Keldrick Falk, but I do think he fits as a pick. I'm coming around to the names that fit as Cowboy picks. And I don't know if Jermod McCoy fits, because I've got multiple people telling me the Cowboys wouldn't be interested, but I don't know how that could be true if he goes and runs a 4.40 and does all of his workout stuff. Like, he's not a hurt guy anymore. He's just a guy who tore his ACL once upon a time as soon as he's healthy. And so the McCoy stuff confuses me a little bit. Falk kind of fits. And so that is a mock draft for you guys. You're welcome.
I understand to a certain extent people, because there are a lot of people who are mocking Falk to the Cowboys at 12. I understand people, he's not a guy at 12. But 20, the people that hate him at 20, why would you hate Falk at 20? By all accounts, he's a first-round pick, and he's going in the first round. By all accounts, on everybody's board, he's going to be there. How could you hate this guy or that pick, especially considering the fit and what you're asking him to do at 20?
I wouldn't hate it at 20. I don't think the other underwhelming prospects from this year, I wouldn't hate any of them at 20, I don't think. And I do wonder, with Osa gone, when they're lining up with 3 down linemen, I don't know who the third one is at this moment. If they took Peter Woods, the Clemson defensive tackle, who I think can play that spot, can move over and take some snaps where Quinnen's going to be. If you had to, could take some snaps at the nose. And when you have 4 down linemen, he could play the 3. He could be a big end. I think all of the guys that people are down on because they weren't what they were supposed to be this year, and that's Keldrick Falk, that's TJ Parker, that's Peter Woods. I think all 3 of those names are probably in play for Dallas at 20 because of the versatility, because of what you want to do defensively, because of the fit. I think all of those guys come and play at number 20. Another guy who did a mock draft, Nick Harris, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. The second greatest Star-Telegram Cowboys beat reporter of my lifetime. I don't remember anybody else. When you were there, did you guys have another guy, Clarence? Or was it just you?
Well, before me, there was Ray Buck. I remember Ray Buck, Kevin Lyons, Josie Karp, and one Mike Fisher was there during the 90s. It was Mike Fisher.
Exclusive.
That's where he at when he wrote that thing about no, that wasn't him.
You talking about Skip?
You're talking about Skip.
That wasn't him.
Skip wrote the thing. Nick Harris at number 12. Cowboys take Mansour Delane, and at number 20, the Cowboys take TJ Parker. So I'm enjoying all the mock drafts because they can be real different. And I don't think people are branching out real far at 12 because depending on how it falls, you're just guessing at the Cowboys' big need position. So you just pick a corner and slap him in there. But at 20, getting lots of different names. So today's names are Keldrick Falk and TJ Parker, who would be a stand-up outside rusher. Doesn't have all the juice, has some of the juice. Pass rush game would have to come along, but he's got some of it. And he could be a solid run player. So I like to get the names out there for people to hear all the names and be prepared. We don't want you surprised on draft night. We want you to be locked and loaded with information no matter who the Cowboys pick.
And that's why you should be watching us on draft night too.
You should be watching us on draft night as well. The diehard Q&A that was going to be after our show today with Fran Duffy is going to be rescheduled. I need to let you guys know that. So just be ready. We'll announce it when we know what the new date is going to be. If you want to get the shirt that Jesse has, I don't know what to tell you.
Hit my DMs.
Okay. Hit his DMs and he'll get you squared away. Everybody go ahead and smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. And thank you for stopping by. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through. Be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.
March it on. March it on. March it on.